Well, we're sitting in here at the US Consulate, St Kilda Road, Melbourne. We came here yesterday. We got rumbled. There were loads of police here when we arrived. So after a couple of hours of action in here, we left, and now we're back with having achieved the first part of our little objective, which is to actually get into the building that houses the US Consulate and stage a sit-in and a teach-in, and amongst other things, record videos like this that veterans in the US who are occupying Obama campaign offices across the states, I think it's something like 28 of them, they can see that down here in Melbourne we are aware of these issues and are showing our solidarity, but also showing our solidarity with Bradley Manning, who's a bit of a champion, and also Julian Assange, and also just fellow activists. I mean, it's very much like what the unionists say, touch one, touch all.
What's apparently is democracy has become a fascism. That democracy has certain standards such as freedom of speech, freedom of information, accountability of government's decisions, transparency in their decision-making process, and any of those standards that aren't met is a step towards fascism. So my concern is that the people of these countries are being treated with contempt. Their basic democratic rights and human rights are being abused, and it's being done by dictators who are collaborating with corporations to treat the masses as a commodity so that they can profit from them.
Sit in.
Sit in. What are you actually sitting in for?
Bradley Manning.
Bradley Manning?
Yeah.
Who is?
Bradley Manning is the alleged whistleblower who leaked collateral murder revealing USA war crimes, killing children, women, journalists.
What are you hoping to achieve today?
We would like to speak to a US consulate official and express our concerns over why, despite their domestic law, he is still being held for over 800 days without trial.
Yep.
He's been subjected to torture. America's domestic law states clearly you cannot hold someone for more than 120 days.
Yep.
They're breaking their own law. They've committed torture. He's a whistleblower. And Obama did win the election based on the fact that he said he was going to protect whistleblowers.
Yep.
So we would like to speak to the United States consulate officials and express to them that if Manning did do what he's alleged to do, they should be protecting him, not torturing him.
Now, brother Bradley Manning, he allegedly leaked material to WikiLeaks, and it showed this type of corruption and complicity and collusion going on between governments that claim to be the vanguard of freedom of speech and democracy. So I'm here today. I don't expect the US consulate to come down and speak to us. Our own government won't listen to us, but I'm here today in support of Bradley Manning to let him know and the world know that us Australians are deeply concerned about what's going on, and he's in our thoughts, and we're trying to do what we can to support him.
We're all threatened by the same kind of police state or even military-industrial complex state tactics that have been brought down on Bradley Manning and Julian Assange, and as we saw here in the day of the eviction here at Occupy Melbourne and Occupy across the States and the UK.
We're here in front of the US Embassy in Melbourne to protest the illegal detention of Bradley Manning, the alleged whistleblower of the collateral murder video. And we already met the building manager who didn't even respond to a friendly good morning. And we're now threatened to be evacuated from the building, and kind of like expected, nobody from the US consulate is willing to even talk to us. Sam, who is one of the organizers of this event today, has prepared some questions and some statements for the US Embassy, because obviously the US ignores their own legal rules and does things which are very much comparable to what Nazi Germany has done some 70 or 80 years ago in simply doing whatever they want to and quenching public dissent.
We've been advised that we can be told at any time to leave by the building security dude who swore at us when we came in. And they're moving things out of the way, so I've got a feeling they're preparing for the eventuality of having to arrest us and drag us out. They've told us that the US consulate do not wish to speak to us. Surprise, surprise. So let's see, that's DFAT, that's the UK consulate, and now the US consulate, where these people that supposedly represent us and represent our allies refuse to participate and engage in dialogue with reasonable citizens who simply want to ask them some very truthful and hard questions. So we're here, we're pretty determined that we're not going to leave of our own accord, and they're apparently waiting for their sergeant, and they guarantee us they won't use the tasers on us. Awesome! And you know, quite seriously, I think that's probably only a fraction of what some of our mates in the US are probably facing over the next few days for occupying Obama's offices. So solidarity, free Bradley Manning, and can you please stop the witch hunt against Julian Assange?
What we're trying to achieve is a dialogue, because in a democracy it should be still possible for average citizen to talk to representatives either of their own government or of those governments represented in their country. And if this is no longer possible, we can kind of conclude that democracy has ceased to exist, which makes something like activism and dissent, public disobedience, civil disobedience much more important than it ever was in history, because we want to have a planet where we still can be free as citizens, free to speak our mind, to move wherever we want to, and not being simple employees of the state, obliged to pay taxes and follow orders, no matter how insane, immoral, or against human rights they are.
All right, guys. Building managers provoked your right to be an employer. I ask you to pick up your stuff and peacefully exit the building. You're more than welcome to stand out the front on the footpath. Without the moment, you can't really do it. So the building manager's going to ask you to leave and ask you to pick up your stuff and peacefully walk out. Okay? You understand it, Philip? He's going to speak.
I'm about to, yeah. So can I ask you to please pack up your belongings and please leave? Thank you.
That's all he has to say.
We'll have to say.
Thanks very much, guys. We'll start reading. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, gentlemen. If I could ask you to stand up and leave, thanks.
You are supporting a government that commits torture, that commits extraordinary rendition, that is committing extrajudicial killings, that is entering the sovereign nations with drones and killing their own citizens and torturing their own citizens. Why are you doing the bidding of this government?
Is it your intention to remain?
We're not leaving.
Then we will be required to walk you out.
Do you understand that you're supporting a government that is committing crimes against humanity?
So is it your intention to remain seated?
Does that not concern you?
Hurt anyone? I'm just asking you again to stand up, please, and walk out. Just gently. Please stand up. Thank you. Just stand up.
We have to stop supporting a government that is torturing and killing people.
Please stand up.
Bradley Manning, let him go.
You don't want to stand up?
Bradley Manning, let him go. People have the right to know.
I'm not even a protester.
I don't care.
You've been asked to leave as well.
I'm sort of a Nostradamus of being arrested, I guess. Hey mate, how you going?
So, unfortunately, they dragged you out and our other camera person, Bedlam, out because they didn't want anyone recording the way they arrested and dragged out Sarah and I. Sarah and I locked arms, so they had to separate us. And they did that pretty full on. A protective services guy came in, kneed Sarah in the face, and ripped our arms apart. And my arms, I mean, you can't see, it's just kind of red, but it's actually really throbbing. He kind of twisted it. And then they dragged us out backwards and deliberately threw a massive puddle outside the main entrance just to, you know, rub it in a little bit. and they said that we were willfully trespassing, which we were, and that's the whole point of non-violent direct action, is to actually say some of the rules are wrong, and sometimes you have to confront those rules and to let it be known that the United States of America is not the great ally that we think it is. And our support of the United States of America is actually the support of a country that commits war crimes, human rights crimes, is torturing Bradley Manning, refuses to abide by the rule of law, and has developed a kill list, has pursued more whistleblowers under Obama than any other presidency, and is engaged in drone bombing of civilians across the planet at will. And I really think we need to reassess our relationship, and I was prepared to get arrested for that because I'm tired of doing nothing, and I think Manning and Julian Assange need to know that there are people that are willing to take those risks because it's nothing compared to the risks that they've taken. And it's really sad to see the Australian Federal Police and the Victorian Police used as private bouncers for United States officials who are too scared to come down and simply engage in a conversation with their allies about why are they torturing Bradley Manning? Why are they torturing him? Why are they pursuing him? You know, he's a whistleblower. This is all about covering up their own war crimes. This is about a rogue superpower, and the only way that superpower can maintain its status and dominance is through the barrel of a gun. And that is not a democracy. And solidarity to those in America who have the courage to stand up in the belly of the beast.
What I want to say is, what are they so afraid of hiding? They have to drag us out and knee us in the face. Like, if they had any means of defense, they would come down and talk to us. But they're scared because their actions are illegal.
Shit is fucked and bullshit.